this wine is really special to me. It's made by a guy who I really like, whose name is Antonio Fattori, and I met him in 2011 and in his house. It wasn't by chance. He invited me there. Not the story. He's a really interesting and quite important guy in white wine making in Italy, certainly where he's based, which is at the end of the Prealps, just above the city of Verona. So you've got interesting influences of altitude. You've got Lake Garda, which is just there. That has influence on the vines as well in terms of temperature. Its line of latitude is quite low, so it's closer to the equator than, say, the south of France, so it's quite warm. And then there's the Adige River, which runs from Lake Garda to the sea, and that influences things as well. So there's everywhere you go, there's just little pockets of influence on the climatic influence on the vines. They're very steep, these vineyards, and as I say, he's famous for his white wines, which are really crisp and elegant and mineral, mouth-watering and fresh and delicious. And I went to visit him because of his white wines. I was looking for a kind of a generic old Pinot Grigio and found one, and he's very nice and good label and nice, brilliant. But then I realised, hold on a second, he's right, because of he was making Soave. Soave is right next to and cheek by jowl with a lot of the Valpolicella vineyards. And at dinner that night, meet a guy, takes you to dinner in his house. He produced some red wines that didn't have any labels. And we didn't know it, but one of them, well, you could tell, one of them was an Amarone and the other was a Ripasso, which is this one. Now, it didn't have a label on, so it kind of looked like that blacky. Anyway, and yeah, you can't see, sorry. Anyway, it was brilliant. And he had this vineyard called Col de la Bastia, which is this one. And he was making his first attempt in red wine making. And he kind of said, well, what do you all think? Absolutely brilliant. Blown away by them. Because, as often happens with red wines made by white winemakers, you find a wonderful elegance, a really good balance, and it never becomes too rich, never overly cloying, never too acidic, and this is a very, very elegant red wine. It happens to be high in alcohol, 14.5%, and it happens to be a Ripasso, which has all that wonderful sort of cherry, black cherry, chocolate, bramble, blackcurrant, blackberry flavours, which is delicious. But it's never over the top, and because of that, I really, really, really like it. The guy's a lovely bloke. He's a real philosopher and a real thinker. He's married to an English lady who's completely bats. Or maybe she isn't, because if she watches this, she'll be a bit annoyed. He was very nice to me, and every time I've met him since, he's always been very generous and very patient. And for that reason alone, I'm interested in what he does. The next reason that I really like him is that his wines are always really good, and I really hope you like them too.